Hey everybody, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. My name is Natalie Michelle. I am Stylesbynataliemichelle on Instagram, and today we are going to be doing a fun, sultry, sexy look, all inspired by Valentine's Day Slay. So this is the look we're going to be doing today. If you guys want to follow along, please do, but please be sure to also subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like today's video, and make sure you hit the bell button so you can get notified on all my future videos. Let's get into it. All right, okay. So first thing we're gonna wanna do is we're going to want to prep our eyelids, prime those babies. You're gonna use your Painterly Pro Longwear paint pot if that's what you have. Whatever primer you have, you can use. This is my favorite one to use, so I'm gonna go in there with just like a dense kind of microfiber brush. I just kind of go in there, get some product, and I lightly spread it on my eyelids. So we'll start by doing that. And just make sure you're bringing it all the way up to the brow. Get it right in the corners. And make sure you take it slightly out onto the sides. As we start to build product up there too, we want to make sure that we have it spread out evenly. And like so, that should be enough. Like that, okay? And we'll do the same thing to the other side. And then you're just gonna wanna set this once you're done putting this on, because it's really gonna help to keep the eyeshadow nice and smooth. So how I do that is I take a big fluffy brush. This one is from Sephora. And I just go in with something that's similar to my skin color. This one here, I've got the Morphe 35OM matte palette here. And I'm just gonna take probably the lightest color, or even this one would be fine too for me. And I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna lightly dust that all over my lid. So it doesn't change the color of my lid, but it's just setting that primer. I'm just gonna go in like that. And now our eyelids are prepped and ready to work on. Still using that fluffy brush that we were using before, we're gonna go in with this guy right here, and we're just gonna start putting that right into the crease so that we can really build a nice blend. So we're just gonna stick that right there. As you can see, I'm just ever so slightly putting that in the crease. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's really gonna help with that transition. So whenever you're doing any color really you're gonna do on your eyelids, whether you're doing a smoky eye, whether you're doing just you know, a soft glam, you're always gonna wanna build that transition. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. So again, you're not seeing too much difference here, but what you're really doing is you're just getting that color so that all the other colors that we use, we can really blend into it. That's what you should have so far. Okay, so next I'm gonna go in, I think this color would be a fun color to start building, and then we'll go from here to maybe one of these colors here. Ooh, or even that one up top would be really nice. Let's start with this one here. So we're just building up that transition. Tap, tap, tap. Very pretty. Still looks natural, but once we get those reds in there, it's gonna look sexy. Okay. Very nice. So I think I am gonna go in with this guy up here. It's really calling out to me, so I think I'm gonna go in with this one here and just sort of build that right on top. Notice how I haven't really changed my brush. I'm still using this fluffy brush because this is what I like to use to really build my crease, and it really disperses you know, the shadow exactly how I want it to. Okay, so now that I've really built up that crease, I've got a lot of blending going on. I'm gonna go into the lid, and I'm taking my MAC 239 brush. It's more of a dense, shorter bristled brush. And I'm gonna go in also with the Morphe palette. This one here, but it's the 35OS. So it's the one that has sort of those shiny pigmented colors. So the other one was matte, and this one has some glitter. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with, there's a couple here that are calling out to me. So this kind of row here is calling out to me, and this guy right here is calling out to me. But I think I'm going to go in right here because I also have a pigment, a loose pigment that I'm gonna be adding to later. And I think this one will really be a nice base color to add that pigment to. So I'm gonna go in right here, and we're just gonna start applying that right onto the lid. Okay, and with this, I like to tilt my, my hand up like this and really build this along the lash line, and I really just pack it in. There's not really a huge technique to it, but you don't want to be down here and kind of rubbing. You want to be up here, and you want to just be like packing it into the lid. And you can go up a bit, but you don't want to go too far into that crease line. It's just enough where what you did with the blending meets the lid. And if you have some fall down, that's totally fine because you can just clean it up after. So that's essentially what you want to do. You can do the same thing to the other side. And you'll be left like this. Okay, and then what I want to do is I want to go in with something that's in between that really fluffy brush, not so much as this dense brush that we used before, but really something right in between. So this one I have is the MAC 217, I believe. And we're gonna go back over to our matte palette. Woo. This palette. And we're gonna go in with some of these deep red tones here. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take sort of this lighter red tone to start, and I'm gonna sort of build this into the outer crease. So just kind of tap it off there. I start on my lid, just on the outer side of my lid, and I work it up into the crease, sort of creating that V motion. So on the lid, up to the crease, and just keeping it on the outer. And I just work it back and forth into a V motion, just to create a little bit of depth right on that outer crease. And I'm not going in too hard or too much right now. I still have something I want to do on my lid before I really complete the whole eyeshadow look. but we'll just go over to this side. Okay, so at this point, you can totally stop here, and this is perfectly, like, this is where I would then add my eyeliner, add my lashes or just mascara, whatever you want. Put some foundation on and keep it simple. Or you can deepen the look a bit more and do that little bit extra, which is what I'm going to do today. So I've got my Makeup Forever loose pigment here. This is the Star Powder Pigment in Pink Gold. This is just such a pretty pigment. It looks very pink when it's in the container, but when you put it on, it has some gold reflex in it. So my secret weapon to putting on loose pigment is, this one has had a lot of love, so it's very worn, but this one's the Sephora Glitter Guard, just their Sephora brand. But I just put a little tiny, like very, very small amount on my middle finger or my ring finger. I don't like to use my index finger because sometimes that can be too hard on the eye. If you're using one of these fingers, it's a little bit more gentle. So I've put it on my middle finger, and right over the part where we put on the light shadow, right on the lid. I'm not going to take it too far over to what we did here, but just right on the lid. I'm going to just lightly tap. You can see right onto, and I don't want to take it too far up either, but just over into the corner and onto the lid. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'll probably get a bit more on my finger here. And then we take our pigment and we'll take that 239 MAC brush again, and we'll dip it ever so gently. A little bit goes a long way with these pigments. I like to tap it off in the lid because I don't want too much on, but I'll just kind of tap it off onto the lid. And then I go in again with the same motion that I had before when I was just tapping this on. But we just press it into the lid. No swiping motions, just pressing it into the lid. And you can see the difference between this eye and this eye and how you get that bit of gold. It's very beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing to the other side, just get a bit on and then tap it off into the lid. Finish that off. We'll go back in with the 35 OM palette from Morphe, and we'll take sort of like a pencil type brush. This one's a little bit fluffier, but I got these in a set from Sephora, so this fluffy brush as well. This came in the same set, but see how, you know, the bristles are kind of tapered. This really helps to really get more of a focus on where you want to put the shadow. So I'm going to go in with sort of this darker reddy color here. I'm going to put a little bit on the tip of this brush, tap it off gently, and then this is really going to just go ever so gently on the outer here. and just already build over what I already built earlier. Might take this up a little bit further into my crease, really darken it and get that depth. Ooh, looks so nice. We're just still doing that V motion that I spoke about earlier. Okay, same thing on the other side. And that's your look. It's blended, you got some depth. If you want, you can also take the little tiny baby brush. Again, this one came in that set that I was talking about. It's a great set. If you don't have good brushes, go to Sephora and get yourself a nice set of brushes. There's more that comes in it, but these are the three, sort of my holy grail of brushes. But I would go into sort of this shimmery, shiny palette, and I'll maybe take this one. It's pretty light, but I'll just go under the brow a little bit. Just a little tiny bit. I don't want to go too much, and I don't want there to be a harsh line between what I've already blended and my eyebrow. So no harsh lines. It's not what we want. And you can also take this one. This is going to be a great one. Oh, I might even go a little bit goldy here. And I'll just put a little tiny bit in the corners, like so. Okay. So that's really it for the shadows. How we're going to really complete this look would be with the eyeliner. So I'm going to go in to my waterline with this MAC eyeliner. This is the Stubborn Brown PowerPoint Eye Pencil. I don't really like using black in my waterline. Usually I'm going to do brown, or I'm going to do some sort of color, or sometimes I just do white eyeliner if I'm really trying to open up my eye. But for this look, I'm going to go in with my Stubborn Brown eyeliner pencil, and we're really just swiping it along the waterline. I'm not taking it too much down, just keeping it really in that waterline, just to add some depth here. So you can already see how that helped. We'll do the same thing to the other side. Gorgeous. Okay, and then lastly for the eyes, I'm gonna go in with a liquid eyeliner. Honestly, you can go in with any liquid eyeliner. Liquid eyeliner, I feel like, is a very personal thing. Some people prefer to use the eyeliner pencils. Some people like the wands. Some people find it hard to use these wands. I personally prefer these ones. This one is Walk the Line by Hardcandy. I actually think they discontinued it. I honestly get this from Walmart. This is called Asphalt, so it's just their black liquid liner, but I can't find it anymore. So I'm feeling as though they've discontinued it, but there's so many out there. Choose whichever one you like and what is easiest for you to use. So I'm gonna go in, and we're just gonna keep this liquid liner to a minimum. I don't wanna do too much here. I'm trying to keep this sort of along the lash line and maybe just a little bit of a flick. So I start by just laying this down on the lash line and getting close, as close to the lash line as you can possibly get. Okay, so I kept it very thin. I did a little tiny flick, and that's really all we're doing there. So after that's done, I'm just gonna go in, prime my skin a bit, put on some lotion, which I actually already put on lotion. I've already put on some primer as well. So I can just go in, I'm using the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Longwear Foundation. This is in the color 150. And really with my skin, I'm gonna keep it very natural because we're going on a Valentine's Day date. Would that be with a certain special someone or your bestie or whoever? So I just like to keep this very natural. I'm gonna take a damp sponge and just sort of work this into my skin. Okay, so once we've blended take it down the neck a bit, so we've got our nice dewy foundation skin. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do too much contouring in this video. Like I said, I want this skin to look as natural as possible, but I do like to go in, this is my Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and I'm just gonna put a little bit under the eyes because I do like to just brighten up that area no matter what I'm doing. And I'll probably just take a little bit up here too. Nothing too crazy. I'll just go in with that same damp beauty blender and work that in. Just adds a little bit of highlight to the areas that we want to brighten. Take the pointer side. Okay, and then after that, I'm just gonna go in with my MAC pressed powder. It's called Next to Nothing Pressed Powder in the color, the shade Light Plus. I'm just going in with a big fluffy brush. This one is from my Milk, Sephora and Milk did a collection together, and I got all their brushes and I love them. They're so soft. But you can really just use whatever fluffy brush you have. And I'm just sort of setting the foundation into my skin. It's all set now. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of it's a dense brush, but it's still pretty fluffy. And I'm going in with my Hoola Benefit bronzer. And I just make a face like this. And I work that into my cheekbones. So I can do a big, long contouring video for you another time, where I actually go in with liquid and really do a whole contour. But like I said, keeping this more natural, I just work this into that cheekbone and out around my forehead. Okay. And then I'm gonna do blush. I'm gonna use my NARS blush. This one's in the color Orgasm because it's Valentine's. And I just apply that very lightly onto the apples of my cheeks. Very pretty. And lastly, I'm gonna go in with my Milk palette. This one is my highlighter. Has the 4 shades. You can see which ones I have the most love for. These 2 are the ones I'm gonna go in with and just ever so lightly just apply that to the cheekbone. A little bit above the brow. Just kind of swipe in an upward motion. Don't want to go too crazy. And a little bit on the nose. And above the lip on the Cupid's bow. So we're just gonna do a quick brow here. Brows are something that are also very personal. There's a lot of different techniques. There's a lot of different things you can do with your eyebrows. Again, I can do that in another video. You can comment below and let me know if that's something that you'd like to see from me. This one, I'm just gonna do a very easy, quick brow. I'm gonna run through this very quickly. I just like to brush mine out first. I'm using the NYX Professional Makeup Eyebrow Powder Pencil in the color Taupe. And I just make sure it's nice and sharp. I start on the bottom here and I just kind of work it along the bottom of my eyebrow. And I just follow sort of the natural arch that I already have there. And I just bring it out, and I'll work on the top. I always start on the bottom first. I don't know if that's a rule, but I do. But that's really all I'm gonna say for brows today. So really easy. That was it before, that's after. And you can see how the look is really coming together. And then my favorite part is always putting on my lashes. That's when I really feel like my look is completed. I'm gonna be putting on the Ardell Whispies. I think they're just a really cute, flirty lash. They're super easy to wear. And I think they're just gonna be still giving this look what it needs, but still having that natural, fun, flirty, sexy look. Okay, so now that that's nice and tacky, I always start by putting my lashes in the center of my eye and then sticking down the edges. Now we have our lashes on. I'll let those dry a little bit. I think we're gonna go back in with our matte Morphe palette. And I'm just gonna take my, where's that brush? Here it is. That little tiny brush that I had from my Sephora set. And I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of this and a little bit of this. These two sort of auburny red colors. And just sort of tap it off. And I'm gonna get as close to the lash line as humanly possible. And I'm just gonna take it on the outer and a little bit to the middle, but not all the way over to the corner, because we already have shadow there from when we took that light shimmery color and we stuck it in the corners. So I'm just kind of blending it into that, so you can see what we did there. It really just completes the look. Again, just keeping it as close to the lash line as possible. Not bringing it all the way over to the corner, but just where it meets the lighter. Okay. And then once I've stuck on the lashes and I know that they're stuck on, I just go over them a little bit with my black liquid liner. just for any spots that sort of stayed white. I want them to look as natural as possible. Okay. Then we'll add some mascara. All right, here I just have the Voluminous Original. This is the OG mascara from L'Oreal Paris. I've used this for as long as I can remember. And she works good for me. So I just try to do just enough so that my natural lashes blend in with the false lashes. All right, so for the lip, we're gonna start by lining the lips. I've got the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner. And this is in the color Tea and Cookies. How cute. Okay. And then I'm gonna go in with L'Oreal. This shade is called Ballerina Shoes. Literally one of my favorite lipsticks. And it's just a drugstore, which I love. I love this lipstick because it has such a natural sheen. And I also love how it feels on my lips. It's not drying. Just a very soft pink, pretty lip. And you can take it one step further if you want. This lipstick, I feel like doesn't really need it, but because I just love this lipstick and it is a date night, you can add this. It also really goes with sort of that loose pigment that we put on where it's pink and it's got sort of that gold reflex in it. This one does as well. This is from Too Faced and it is the color Two Nightstand. So I'm gonna just take a little bit of that and just add it. Right in the middle. And just kind of takes it to that next level. And we're complete. That's it. I'll do a little bit of a spray. This is Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1. I love this spray. I need some more. It's running out. Just finish that spray. And she's done. Okay, so that's the look. That is my Valentine's Day Slay look. You can really use this look for any event. But if you like what you guys saw today, make sure you guys like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you leave a comment down below and let me know what you liked about it, if you'll be doing this for your Valentine's Day. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Mwah.